We just got back from the most incredible 10-day European Christmas market experience, and I can't wait to share it with you. Last year I did another European Christmas market trip where we started in Belgium and then flew to Central Europe to do Austria, Slovakia, and Hungary, and I have an itinerary for those Central European Christmas markets if that's a location that interests you more, so make sure to check that out. But for this video, we're going to be talking about Western Europe. We bought the Eurail Pass, which gives you unlimited trains in Europe, so we put together a route to see as many Christmassy things via train, starting and ending in London. So I'll dive into the itinerary now and give my personal rankings on how Christmassy it was before moving on to the next destination. We started off the trip taking the train from London to Belgium. We used Brussels as our home base, so we got to visit Brussels, Antwerp, and Bruges during our 2 days here. Unfortunately, we were too early for the Brussels and Antwerp Christmas markets. They were set to open a few days later, but we were able to visit the Bruges Christmas market on day 1, which I had visited last year as well. It's a city that feels like it was built for Christmas with its cobblestone streets, medieval architecture, and 2 delightful Christmas markets. It's hard not to feel enchanted here. The main market in the Old Town Plaza is particularly stunning because it's surrounded by historic buildings that glow under the soft holiday lights. As you sip on hot chocolate or sample traditional Belgian treats, you'll find yourself immersed in a quintessential small town Christmas atmosphere. It definitely isn't the best or the biggest Christmas market in Europe, but its small town charm and cozy feel gives it an 8 out of 10 for me. Day 2, we split between the morning in Antwerp and the afternoon in Brussels. So if you want more information on these cities, make sure to subscribe as I'll have an in-depth itinerary for them both coming next week. On day 3, we hopped on the train to Cologne, Germany. We did have some train issues, which ended up forcing us to get off the train in Aachen, Germany, a city I had never heard of and wasn't on our original itinerary, of course. And let me tell you, I'm actually super glad that we had train trouble because Aachen was so charming. For the city being so small, their Christmas market was really impressive. It basically circled the entire cathedral on all sides and spread out down little alleyways on each side as well. It was super cute and had amazing food, so I'd give this market an 8 out of 10. After our stop in Aachen, we were able to continue on to the original destination, Cologne, and oh my god, this was the best day of the entire trip. If you saw last week's video about the best Christmas destinations in Europe, you will already know how I feel about Cologne. This city goes above and beyond with about 6 markets spread across town, each with its own unique theme. We have Nicholasdorp, aka Nicholas Village, which is located in the Rudolfplatz Square. So the theme is all things St. Nick, like Santa's workshop and reindeer. Super, super cute. We also have the Angels Market located in New Market Square and the Cologne Cathedral Christmas Market with a yellow star theme. And my absolute favorite was the Old Town Market with its whimsical gnome theme. It felt like stepping into a Christmas wonderland. All of Cologne gets a 10 out of 10 for Christmas vibes. So for a more in-depth guide to Cologne's Christmas market, check out this video. On day 4, we hopped on the train to Luxembourg, and if I'm being completely honest, this wasn't on any list as being a super Christmassy destination. I just added it to our itinerary so each of us could add another country to our list of visited countries. And I gotta say, as a whole, I wouldn't recommend visiting here. I was very unimpressed with both the city itself and the Christmas vibes. I was originally planning to make a 1-day Luxembourg itinerary video, but decided not to. That's how much I didn't really like it. But the best thing about Luxembourg, I will say though, is that all of their public transportation is free and very, very clean. So if you do decide to visit, you can hop on any form of public transportation and not worry about anything. If you head to their city center, there are 2 small Christmas markets to see, but mostly it's filled with places to shop. So for Christmas vibes, I'd give it a 1 out of 10. On day 5, we took the train an hour and a half south to Strasbourg, France, which has named itself as the capital of Christmas. I actually loved this city as a whole and did think it had great Christmas vibes. I just wish that they hadn't called themselves the capital of Christmas because my expectations were that it was going to be the most Christmassy destination I've ever been into in my life, just like the ultimate Christmas overload, and it wasn't. I thought Cologne's Christmas vibes were better, but it's still an amazing Christmas destination to add to your itinerary. Maybe visit there before you head to any place in Germany so you can be super wowed and not be disappointed. They do have multiple Christmas markets spread out around the city, but the 2 I'll dive into here are Place Kleber, which is the largest Christmas market in Strasbourg, with over 130 stalls. The showstopper here is the massive Christmas tree in the center. I genuinely have never seen a real Christmas tree as big as this one before. And the second is the Place de la Cathedral Christmas Market. These stalls line the perimeter of the stunning Strasbourg Cathedral, so even before you get to the plaza and you are just walking up, you are in awe. Then once you get there, you can kind of take your time walking around the cathedral in its entirety to see all the stalls. I give Strasbourg a 9 out of 10 as a Christmas destination, and if you want a more in-depth guide to everything Strasbourg at Christmas, like the foods to try, where to stay, all the markets in depth, check out this video. On day 6, we headed 30 minutes south to Colmar, France. This city is truly the most fairy tale-esque city I've ever been to. I really did feel like I'd stepped back in time and it was in a storybook. So just in general, I would recommend a visit here regardless of the time of year, so you can just see the charming, colorful houses along the canals, the small alleyways, the cobblestone streets, and just ultimately feel like you've gone back in time. As a Christmas destination, it was quite cute and charming. There were several different Christmas markets spread out all around the city, so you were kind of always just randomly stumbling upon one, which was really nice. Plus, there were Christmas lights and storefront displays all around the city as well. I'd give Colmar an 8 out of 10 as a Christmas destination. If you want an in-depth guide to Colmar, France, make sure to subscribe as that video will be coming out in the next few weeks. Days 7 and 8 were spent in Zurich, Switzerland. On the first day, we just walked around the city center, going to places like Bahnhof Street, which is like the main shopping street, and walking around the old town, of course. They had a few Christmas markets spread out around town, like the Munsterhof Market and Grossmünster Market. But the best market by far was the Sechsalotenplatz Market. Not saying that correctly. It definitely doesn't give you as much of a Christmas vibe as some of the other places I've already talked about, but it's an incredible food market. Most Christmas markets around Europe just serve the same typical foods like bratwurst, potato pancakes, waffles, crepes, things like that. But this market was probably 70% just restaurants or like pop-up food stalls with all different types of cuisine. So it was a great place to try a bunch of different foods and just enjoy some Christmas vibes. Overall, I'd give the Christmas vibes in Zurich about a 6 out of 10. Like, I liked the city, but it wasn't very Christmassy overall. For your second day in Zurich, you can choose between exploring the center again if there were some things that you missed, heading to the Lindt chocolate factory, which is only about 30 minutes outside of the city center, or even spending a day in Lucerne and the Swiss Alps, which is about 45 minutes away. If you have the time and the budget, I would highly recommend doing the Swiss Alps and the Lucerne area. It's one of the most beautiful mountain ranges I've ever laid eyes on, so you can check out my full day in the Swiss Alps here. Our last 2 days, days 9 and 10, were spent in Paris. Now, this was my 4th time in Paris, and honestly, I didn't really want to go back, but trains to London are only via Amsterdam, Brussels, or Paris, so it made the most sense with our route, and I figured I'd never been during Christmas, so I'd love to see it all decked out for Christmas. I will say that you probably wouldn't even know it was Christmas if you were walking around Paris. Only 2 very small Christmas markets, which were not great at all. Barely any lights or trees anywhere, so if you're looking for it to be a Christmas destination, it will absolutely disappoint you. I give it a 1 out of 10 for Christmas vibes, but of course Paris is an incredible city to visit, Christmas aside, so check out this 3-day Paris itinerary to make the most of your time there if you do decide to visit. Now let's check out the best Christmas destinations in Europe to help you compile your dream European Christmas itinerary.